everyone, welcome to my cooking channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make a Swahili delicacy known as pilau. And so for pilau, I'm gonna list the ingredients. You need a long grain rice like basmati. I'm using basmati. And you need garlic and ginger. We're gonna make a paste. And you need your beef. You need your beef bones. And for the spices, you need whole spices. You need cumin, black pepper, 1 stick of cinnamon, some cardamom, and some cloves. And we need 1 red onion and ground spices. I'm using Pilau masala. And so we are gonna begin with making the broth using our bones and some of the whole spices and the garlic and ginger paste. Alright, so we're gonna start preparing our garlic and ginger, and so we're gonna chop it up into tiny pieces just to help the blender. You don't want to kill your blender, so you chop it up into tiny pieces, and then we'll just add a little bit of water and blend it. Okay, garlic done. Now moving on to the ginger, peeled and washed. You want to cut your ginger like against the fibers, and you want to make the ginger pieces a bit tinier because ginger is a bit more tough and it can be really hard to blend if you put it in huge chunks. Okay. Garlic and ginger for the blender. So we'll probably have to do it in 2 rounds because I don't want to overfill my little blender. And just a little bit of water and yeah, you want it to be as smooth as possible, but it doesn't matter if you have some chunks in there anyway. Okay, now we are ready to make our broth. We have our bones in a pot, and we are going to add 2 tablespoons of garlic and ginger paste. And then we're gonna add some of our whole spices. I'm not gonna go through all the measurements right now. I will put them on the description box for you, but you wanna use a portion of your whole spices for the broth. And of course, plenty of water to cover your bones, and some salt to taste. And you're gonna put your broth on high heat until it boils, and then once it has come to a boil, you will turn down the heat to about medium, such that you maintain the boil, but you don't need to keep it on high heat. Okay, we'll see you in a few minutes when the broth is ready. Our soup is starting to boil, our broth. And once it's come to a complete boil, I'm going to reduce the heat down to medium and cover it and just let it boil for a couple of minutes, you know, at least 30 to 45 minutes. All right, there we go. Just let this do its thing, and then in the meantime, I'm going to prepare the rest of our ingredients. All right, so we're gonna start chopping our red onion. Of course, you can use white onion if you don't have the red onion, but I prefer the red onion for the color. All right, so just slice it however you like. I am going to slice it into half moon shapes. If anyone has a solution for crying while cutting your onion, please share the secret, because right now I'm tearing up. Okay. Alright, and then next I am going to slice up my beef into smaller pieces. So I like my beef chopped finely for pilau. So like bite-sized cubes, you know, something like that. That helps it cook faster and look better in the rice. You can actually use any type of red meat for your pilau. I have cooked it with lamb and goat before, and you know, they're equally good, but the classic pilau calls for beef. The most important thing is that you develop deep flavors in your broth. So whatever meat you use, just be sure to make a nice broth. Alright, so now we are gonna rinse our rice twice and then soak it in water and salt for around 30 minutes. That will help your rice to not to not clump together during the cooking, because you know you wanna see the grains separating. So just run it through cold water twice or thrice. Get rid of that water and then leave it to soak for at least 30 minutes. You can go over 30, just don't do more than an hour, and should be all set. And we'll add some salt to that too. The salt also helps to get rid of some of the starch, because the starch is what makes your rice clump together. And you know, we want a beautiful pilau that separates into the individual grains. Alright, so now I'm gonna leave my rice in this water, and I will bring some salt. Just add a bunch of salt in there and just let the rice do its thing. Mix it a bit and just let it sit while your broth is cooking. Looking good. It smells so good.
It smells so good.
I know. Our broth is boiling and it's smelling so wonderful. I wish you were here to smell. All the spices. They're smelling so good. Okay, I'm gonna taste the broth. I can't resist. It smells so good. Almost ready. It needs a bit more salt, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be too salty because when we make the rice, we will add some salt anyway. But so far so good. We're gonna give it a few more minutes. Alright, so I'm gonna take out the bones. Put them away. This is very hot, so you want to be careful. Don't burn yourself. And then just put your broth in a different container or bowl. Just pour it all out. You can use the same pot, and you should use the same pot for cooking your rice because it's got some of the flavor in there. You don't want to wash that off. These are the ingredients that we're gonna use for making our pilau. So we need the remaining whole spices, salt to taste, pilau masala, onions, chopped onions, beef, ginger and garlic paste, as well as our nice broth. And so now you're gonna add your onion to your pot, put it on high heat, and use however much oil you're comfortable using, and whichever oil of your choice. I'm using olive oil. And so we are gonna let these onions cook until they brown. So the brown color of the onion is gonna flavor and color the rice. So pilau is usually dark brown in color, so we get that color from our onions. Please do not use soy sauce. Don't cut corners. Brown your onions. Our onions are almost ready. We want them to be all brown. And then we shall add some spices and our beef. Let our beef cook through, and also let it, have some brown on it. Yeah. Okay, our onion is ready now. You see how nice and brown it is? So now it's time to add our beef. Add your 1 tablespoon of ginger and garlic paste, some salt to flavor your beef, and the rest of your whole spices. Oh, this smells so yummy. And now we'll cover it and let it cook through. Alright, let's see how our beef is doing. Oh, it's looking good. but we kind of want the juices to dry down a bit more. That way we know our beef has cooked through. You want it to be all the way done, all the way, and even start to brown a bit. But you see how nice and brown the meat is already from the spices and the onion. That's how we know our rice is gonna be pretty and brown. Alright, so let's see how our beef is doing. Alright, you need to keep stirring it, you know, every now and then, like every 2 minutes, stir it together, you know, make sure nothing is catching to the bottom. But we'll give it like 2 more minutes and then we'll be ready to add our broth. Now our meat is nice and toasty, and it smells great. So we are ready to add our broth. So you know the rules apply, you know, 1 cup of rice to 2 cups of water, which is our broth in this case. So I'm doing 3 cups of rice, so I'm gonna use 6 cups of broth. And if you don't have enough broth, just top it up with water. It's fine. You've got lots of flavor going in already. Okay, that's 4 cups. Goes into the meat. And 2 more. You want some of the spices too. 2 cups. Alright. We got 6 cups of broth. And then now you want to mix it up with your meat and taste. Make sure that the broth is a bit saltier than normal, because you're gonna add some rice, so you need this to be a bit saltier because, you know, you're gonna add some rice to this. And make sure you like the balance of spices and everything. If you want to add anything, you know, at this point, go ahead and add whatever you want. I'm gonna add another tablespoon of my garlic and ginger paste because it just gives you that extra flavor. And we'll cover this and let it come to a boil. And once that happens, we'll just add our rice and give it like 15 to 20 minutes and we shall be ready. A bit more salt. I think I'm good on spices. I will not add any more spices at this point. Yeah, so I'll just cover this and give it a few minutes to come to a boil. Yeah. Okay, so our meat broth is boiling, so we are ready to add our rice. So what I did, I just went ahead to drain out the water that was soaking the rice and added 1 more round of water, rinsed it out. And now we are ready to just add in our rice to the broth, to our meaty broth. And then, you know, when you add the rice, it lowers the temperature of the broth, so it stops boiling for a bit. So I'm gonna increase the heat so that it comes to a boil. And once it has come to a boil, I'll decrease the heat to low, between 2 and low, and cover it up with foil and the lid and let it cook for 15 to 20 minutes undisturbed. Okay, so our rice is boiling. So now we are going to lower the heat. You can even go all the way down to low. And then we're gonna cover this up with some aluminum foil. You want to retain the moisture in the rice, and, you know, be careful, don't burn yourself. And add your cover. and just chill, hang out, give it 15 to 20 minutes. Don't open, don't stir, and we'll look at it in 15 minutes, and if it needs more time, we'll let it go. Okay. I'm gonna check on the rice now. Ooh, it's looking good, but there's still some moisture, so we're going to cover it back up and give it a few more minutes. Let's check our rice now. Oh, it's looking good. I think it's ready. Oh yes, this is ready. It's looking good. All right, so we're gonna taste this now. Okay. Just a little bit to taste. Smells good. Nice. Very good. All right, so our pilau is ready, and we made some kachumbari for it. So usually pilau is eaten traditionally with some kachumbari, and so you know the verdict has been made. This pilau is so delicious and you have to try it. So this is classic Swahili pilau, and it's very simple and very tasty. So please try and let me know how it goes.